Hello everybody, Baztopia back again with another episode of Banished. This is episode 2, and I've already started building a fishing dock, as I said we were going to do in this video. Where that is at is food production, raw food gathering, and then fishing dock. And you can see this, and if you hit the R button you can rotate it around the place how you want. Those little arrows indicate the land where it has to be. At least in the particular case of the fishing dock, so that's how you do that. And we are also going to build us a pasture. We want to get our animals someplace so that we can start collecting wool off of the sheep, and eventually we can start collecting meat. The way that happens is, generally speaking anyways, is whenever the farm gets too full, there's a capacity, and when they're over capacity they'll slaughter the animals automatically. Not so nice for the animals, very nice for us. And we don't have anywhere cleared out for this to automatically go, so we're going to just go ahead and we're going to put something in. I can't really tell you what size is the best size. There's a lot of competing theories out there. I just kind of build with what I think looks good. The bigger the pasture, the more animals you can store. I'm going to go a 14 by 14. I think that's a good starting one. We'll probably change a lot of this stuff as we go. We'll deconstruct it, rebuild it, make things better. But that should be good for right now. I'm going to unpause the game. I'm sorry if this video sounds a little like I had already started. I had already started and the phone rang about the same time I started recording, so it kind of threw me off track, and so I threw out the first part of the video and just started re-recording episode 2. So that's where we're at on that. I had also come up here, I don't think I mentioned this when I started re-recording, I added 2 builders in. And I have a need for 4 builders, but they can't build until this is cleared anyways, so by the time this is cleared out, this will probably be done and the builders can come over here. And if not, what the builders will do is they'll start clearing the land around here with the other laborers, and then they'll start building it when the land's cleared. And that's something that's the case with all jobs. If there's no work for them to do, they'll become a laborer for the temporary short term, and then they will start building or doing whatever job it is that they've been tasked to do once that's available. So you can see the question mark showing up here. That means that there's nobody working there currently. If I click this button, you'll get this little stop button, and that means that nobody's going to work there. Even if you've got them assigned there, they'll become jobless. So this is the number of workers. I like to switch mine down to whatever the number of workers is that I'm going to put in, because if I build another fishing dock somewhere and I had 2 working here, it'll just automatically shift that to the other working dot, and you'll have 1 at each one. Maybe that's what you want, maybe it's not. It's not what I want. I want to control where people are working, so I like to do it this way. And then I'm going to tick that up, and then I get 1 working there. I could also do that over here. I'm not going to, but I could. The main reason I keep this open is for the first 2 options here, laborer and builder. And we got a 5,000 food limit right now. You can increase that or decrease it. Now what this fisherman will do is he'll fish, and then he'll bring stuff to this barn, and then back again, and he'll sleep in a house. Usually it's the closer house, and in this case it is. You can see he's 10 years old and he's already working. Oh my, child labor laws. But that's something that you can kind of remedy. So if this house and this barn is too far away from here, you can build a house in a smaller barn, for instance, right here, and that'll eliminate his need to work so far away, and he can be more efficient at his job. Being right now he's already caught 10 fish, so we're gonna just see how that goes. Our pasture's coming along. They're still clearing things out. I will mention that if this is the first time you're playing the Colonial Charter mod and you just installed it and then started playing, you may see some little buggy things where like laborers aren't clearing the land like they should be. If that happens to you, just close the game and reopen it, and you shouldn't see that issue anymore. It's a problem I ran into with the first version of the beta that I was in, and it hasn't occurred again since I've restarted the game, so I think that's all it was. It was just an initializing issue. So if you see that, that should fix it. One thing we can't really tell is how many families we have versus how many homes we have. I mean, we can get a guess here. We have 6 houses, and we have 14 adults and 11 children. So that means there's 14 adults living in 6 houses. So you have an idea of how many houses you need, and you really should have enough houses for 2 adults to live in with 1 or more children. So we know we need some more houses. There's a building that's really good for this, the town hall, and there's an even smaller version of that building, which we'll show later, which will gives you census information, and it's really handy to have for this kind of thing. I'm going to build a log cabin out here by the fishery, by the fishing dock, because one, I think they look pretty cool, and they're kind of nestled in the woods, so I think that'll work good. And hopefully our fishermen will move in here and work here. Eventually that will happen. How long it'll take is another story, but they tend to live as close as possible to their work site. The problem you run into sometimes is with laboring. Sometimes they'll get in a house and they don't want to move because there's work right there, and that blocks the fishermen from moving in. But eventually it usually works itself out. You can see down here we're low on firewood, and it is absolutely correct. We have no fuel stored. That's something we need to take care of pretty quickly. That's something we need. And let's see, I'm trying to remember. Some of these menus have changed since I played. Yeah, here we go. So inside the refined resources, you got a woodcutter, and this is the big woodcutter. You can, well, it's a medium woodcutter. There's an even bigger one than this, but what this will do is allow him to cut wood, and I believe you can have 2 people working that. You also have a really small chopper, and I think that's what I'm going to go with to start with, because like I said, we're going to tear down a lot of this probably as we go, and I'm going to put him as close to the stockpiles as possible, because that will give him the ability to take wood from the stockpile and firewood right back again. I put him 1 space away so that I have some room. Let's see, where did I leave off here? Let me unpause this. So we have started building our chopper, that's right, and that's so he can make some firewood for us. He's not going to make a ton of firewood for us, but he should be able to get this small little town going, and then as we start to build out, we'll be better off. You can see here that we got our pasture done. If we click on here, it'll give you a list of all the animals you have available to put in the pasture. We only have sheep, so we're going to do that. We only have 8 of them, and I built this big enough so that we can have 12. So the good news is that we can split this. If we build another one and we can click the split button, you can only do that when you have so many animals in there, so this should be a good size for us as we go. The wool will give us the ability to actually build some clothing, which we will be needing. We are currently at 11. Of course, we are 83 degrees. You know, I'm quite honestly not sure if that is in Celsius or Fahrenheit, or if it makes any difference whatsoever. Show Celsius temperatures is turned off, so yes, it does make a difference, but in our case, that is already set to Fahrenheit, so that's good. I will know what the temperature is, because I couldn't tell you in the most cases what's hot and what's not in Celsius. Okay. So, we got somebody working here. This guy says he's cold, but it's 84 degrees outside, so he's not really cold, but what he's saying is I've built this new house, and I've got no firewood. You can click on their inventory, and you can see what they have in their homes. They'll stockpile a certain amount in order to keep themselves happy. Right now, you can see that our average health is, we're sitting at 4.5 hearts. That's not too bad. That's really pretty darn good. And the average happiness of our citizens. We want to keep both of these as high as possible. So as soon as our chopper is done here, we're going to get some wood going. There we go. Boom. We have a wood chopper. We have somebody working there. So he'll be able to get logs, cut it into firewood, take it back here. I don't think this is going to last us very long, so we really need to get busy. See, you just started in all the sheep, so that's quite nice. And I doubt if we've collected anything yet. We haven't, but you can click on this button right here, and it'll show what they've done this season and what they've done last season. Same thing for the woodcutter. You'll be able to see how much wood he's cutting. Alright, let's go back into the food menu, and we are going to create a gatherer's hut. Now, you generally want to put these in a wooded area. That's where you're going to have the most food grown. We'll put in, let's say, something like this. I don't mind a little bit of overlap up here. That's okay. We're going to get that built. And you can see it once 3 workers here. I'm going to switch this down to just the 2 workers so that if I decide to create another one, I can get them working somewhere else immediately. And I'm going to put a log cabin down here with them as well. One thing I will probably also do down here is put in a barn. There's a couple different kinds of barns, but we have this really small barn that's fairly cheap to build. We're going to start running out of resources here pretty quickly, though. Just kind of line it up so that we're next to the cabin and everything. So basically, this guy can come in here and drop stuff off, and he's living right here, so he'll work in this area, and he'll be able to do everything pretty efficiently. What won't be efficient is getting this food up here for these people, because these people are going to have to come down here to this barn. We don't probably want that. It's going to be okay for the short term, but eventually we're going to want to build markets. And what markets are is somebody can work there, and they have a radius, so like this is the big one. They have a radius, so the person at the market will go around and he'll collect food and items from the different barns in his radius, and he'll take them back to the market, and then within that market people can come there and pick up their foods, and so you get a much more centralized location, and you can really make things a lot more efficient as time goes. 138 food. You can see we are nearly totally out of food. I really wish this would have been chickens or something more like that, because that would have given us the ability to generate some food really quickly. But we didn't get that lucky. Let's see how he's doing on the firewood here. He has made 48 firewood. That should hopefully keep us going fairly well. We'll see. We're still in summer, so it's not that big of a deal right now. See, though, we're starting to get low on pretty much everything. And I know that I'm going to want to come out here and build a lot more, so what I'm going to do is use this remove resources button, and that'll collect everything that I select. I'm going to use it kind of sparingly. I'm going to take small sections out at a time. And that's just mostly so that I don't get my laborers so busy that I can't get them to do anything else. So we'll do that. And there's another tool. So if your laborers aren't coming up here and picking things up, or if your builder isn't building something you want him to build, you have this increased priority tool. Now, I've never seen an official response on how this tool works. From a simplicity standpoint, you just highlight where you want, boom, and I've increased the priority. Question is how much have I increased the priority? Have I moved it to the top of the queue? Or have I just moved it one step up in the queue from everything else? So if there were 10 things in the queue and this was number 10, did I just move it up to number 9? I don't know. And there's a lot of conflicting information out there about this, and I've never seen a good response on it. In fact, I might reach out to the developer to double check, or even the Colonial Charter guys. They might know the answer to this really well too. To me, I think it's just a one click and you're done. I think it's moving it to the top of the queue, and if you click on something else, it's moving it to the top of the queue instead. However, I have seen some evidence where if I selected it once and I selected it again and again and again, and I have a lot of things going on, it kind of does look like it's actually working. So I'm not sure. But that's something I would love to get an official answer on, and it's something I might actually work on trying to find out from somebody. I'm leaning towards a one click and you're done. That's probably all it is. Okay, so we've got a few things going. I think I'm going to end this episode here, keep them kind of short. I want to try to keep them to 20 minutes or so by the time I'm done editing things. And it's kind of hard to tell with this one with all the interruptions I've had, so I'm going to go ahead and put in a cut, and we'll be back with episode 3 pretty quickly. If you like what you're seeing, click that like button. If you don't like what you're seeing, click that dislike button, but please let me know why in the comments. And if you like what you're seeing, please click the subscribe button, and I hope to see you next time.